Welcome everyone to Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast. I am Chris Dredd here with my main man JB. What's going on, bruv? You alright?
How we
Yeah,
doing?
man. It's a nice warm Thursday evening in the UK. We're just chilling out of still a bit warm. Last week was quite warm. It's quite close today, but yeah, man, we're loving it. How's things going, Jay?
It's all good this end, all good.
Sweet.
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of wrestling.
We've been watching a lot of wrestling, man. You know, there's a lot of shit going on in the world, a lot of crazy stuff, and like the meme that we put out today on Twitter, um, we don't care about any of that shit really at the minute. We're just watching 90s wrestling pay-per-views.
That's it. We don't particularly bother with the rest of the world at the minute. We're just having some fun.
We're in our bubble, man. So you can catch us on the Twitter at Chat Grapple Pops. That's at Chat Grapple Pops. Catch us here on YouTube, Chat Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast. Also check us out on all the various podcast bits and bobs. Shall I reel off the list?
Go for it.
So we got Podbean, Spotify, Deezer, Castbox, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Listen Notes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, all of that good shit right there. Just that's it. Just too many places you can hear our lovely voices talking about wrestling. And you know, we had a bit of a weird one last week, you know. Another great podcast though. We had another great response. It went really well. We had a hell of a lot of
Right.
listeners again.
It was a big one, and thank you to anyone that listened and downloaded and enjoyed or didn't enjoy. Up to you. If you don't like
Right.
it, whatever.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Keep
we keep
listening.
hitting we keep hitting the same numbers every week, which is great. We're getting the similar amount of people listening every week. Our subscriber count has gone up immensely this week, so we just want to say thank you to everybody. And please, if you're watching this, a subscribe is free, just in that way or that way, whatever it is. Just subscribe, click on the bell. You don't even need to get you know, alerts or anything when we put out a video. Obviously, it'd be great if you did that, and then you get to know when the next shows are. And today we are delving into a fantastic era for wrestling.
We've got some attitude.
We've got some attitude. So
We've got some attitude this week,
we haven't covered any attitude era really up to now, have we?
and people have asked. People
People
have
have
asked about
asked.
it. Yeah, and it's time. It's
It's
time to
time.
dive right into, you know, the World Wrestling Federation's Attitude Era, where almost anything goes.
Almost anything did go. And let me tell you, what are we going to be covering today, George?
No chance. That's what you got.
No chance in hell.
It's the Royal Rumble. It's 1999. We're partying like it's January 1999, literally,
That's correct.
and this is right slap bang in the middle of one of the greatest feuds in wrestling history. It's Austin McMahon,
That's right.
something else. It's just an incredible feud that started way back in 1997, and they
And
carried it on as far as 1999. I think that's incredible.
and the fact is that this feud came out of the fact initially that Stone Cold was injured and couldn't wrestle.
Yeah,
So
that's how far back it goes, back to SummerSlam '97.
that's right. It goes back to the fact of Stone Cold being injured, unfortunately, by the late great Owen Hart. Dropped on his head, fucked up his vertebrae in his back, was in extreme pain, and to be honest with you, a lot of people knock Austin, but the state his body was in even at this time in 1999, the pain that this guy would have been in, and the performance that he put in on this night, the amount of time he was in.
Consistent. It's consistent with Austin. He put in decent match after great match after even better match, and it, you know, a lot of them turned into brawls.
Yeah.
But you know, he completely changed his style by, you know, from the last time we would have seen him on one of our shows, which was probably what, Halloween Havoc 1991.
Yeah, Halloween
Yeah.
Havoc 1991. Oh,
Yeah,
mate.
feel free to check that one out. But yeah, this is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's no longer stunning, and he is absolutely raw. He does whatever the hell he wants. I will remind everyone, this is a Vince Russo era show, so lots of skits, lots of, you know, quicker matches, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's the booking with Russo. A lot of people have said it was a little bit weird, but he liked to grab people's attention as soon as they switched over the channel or as soon as they turned it on. He wanted at all times for there to be something on the screen to grab people.
I think this era had a lot of more shocks and surprises, which is funny because this show isn't full of that many surprises.
Not really, no. I mean, there is one big surprise, I would say, that has never really happened before in wrestling. It never happened in the Royal Rumble before. With one of the outcomes of the matches, but no, there wasn't too much, you know, unexpected stuff really. But I mean, there was something for everyone in this. There's something for everyone. There's wrestling, there's excitement, there's brawling, there's blood, there's boobies, you know, but you know, i.e. girls, you know, a great event, great event, and it was, as you say, the pinnacle of the feud between Austin and Mr. McMahon, the character of Mr. McMahon, not Vince McMahon. This was Mr. McMahon.
And yeah, I'm going to start with Heat, because Heat was live an hour before on the USA Network and what have you, you know. And straight out the gate, Vince and his crew, you know, the Stooges, are on their way to the ring. Shane is on commentary with Kevin Kelly, which is, I mean, he's hype, but it's not very good.
No.
But yeah, something I noticed straight away, the signs.
Loads of signs.
That's wrestling that we watched back in the day. Signs everywhere.
Yeah, dude.
And later on in the show, I think even Jerry Lawler like pinpoints one because he sees it and says he makes a point of saying that's, you know, of questioning that sign, which I'll get to later on.
There's some questionable behaviour from one of the fans as well, and it's just amazing. It's just so funny. I literally laughing out loud, nearly piss myself laughing when I see this. But yeah, let's crack on.
You know, this is a live Heat. This is, you know, the free for alls are long gone. So it's a Sunday night hour sort of lead in to the pay per view itself. You know, Vince comes out and says he has a rep as a street fighter. I've looked through a lot of stuff. I haven't seen anything. I don't remember seeing any YouTube vids of Vince, you know, fighting on the tough streets of Connecticut.
No. Just a quick one as well. Talking about Heat, Sunday Night Heat. The figures that I collect, as one of the sets of figures I collect. If you can see them just behind me, just up there. And the reason why is because the faces on those figures were starting to become really realistic at that time. They're really, really great, and just some really good figures. So
who was the maker? Was it Jax?
Jax, baby, Jax. I'm a huge Jax figure fan. Yeah.
Vince gives Stone Cold Steve Austin, gives him 30 minutes to meet him face to face in the ring, because Austin's struggling to get into the arena because some idiot in the car park wouldn't let him in, saying that he couldn't get VIP parking because he didn't have a limo.
That's
Austin's
correct.
in time, and yeah, we'll be back soon. He says Mankind, our WWF champion, will have a tune-up match on Heat. here's where my smallest problem with this part of the show is by getting everyone out on heat, you lose some of that reaction on the pay-per-view when they come out again.
From the crowd, yeah.
And something I noticed for one or two guys that made a second appearance later on when they got to the pay-per-view. Tune-up match is with a masked man. It's a surprise. It's a mystery opponent. It's pretty obvious who it is when he gets out of the limo. He's massive. But we'll get to that. One of the two matches on Heat was the Job Squad, Hardcore Holly and Too Cold Scorpio against Too Much Scott Taylor and Brian Christopher.
Yeah.
Before they became Too Cool. It's not a great match. It's a quick match. It's just a couple of minutes. But Hardcore Holly, not even Hardcore Holly, is Bob still, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Spark Plug, Sparky Plug. Do you remember when?
He's no longer the Spark Plug. No,
No.
he's just part of the Job Squad, which is
Al Snow.
Al Snow, Blue Meanie.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a weird time in it to be a wrestling fan. Yeah. And after the match, they all get jumped by the Acolytes, Bradshaw, Farouk, and Midian.
Yep.
And just as you think that it couldn't get any weirder, you hear a gong for the Undertaker. Him and Paul Bearer make their way out, and Taker says he's picked his next soul for the Ministry of Darkness.
The Ministry of Darkness, that's right.
Which is just, but Undertaker gets a massive pop, and it's something that I don't think you can ever sort of take away from him. I mean, we've only recently seen that could well be hanging up his boot, gloves, and hat. Seen a lot of thank you Taker and stuff like that online. I'm not sure if it's the last one for him.
I think maybe for once a wrestler should just fucking retire and call it a day. I mean, he can't be short of a few quid. He doesn't need the money.
He'd work once a year, wouldn't he?
I really wish a wrestler would just retire and just sit like an old man on the back porch and just enjoy life.
Yeah. Sable gets called out for an interview with Michael Cole, I think it is. Yeah. Good old Mike. No, it's not Michael Cole. Sorry, I think it's Shane who comes out to do it. And Luna, what a lady! Luna comes out and works over Sable's lower back.
Correct. They show this in. Yeah.
Very quick. Yeah. It's this again. TV time and stuff on Heat. It's a Sunday night. They're just whizzing through this, which is why I'm doing the same. Vince comes back out to the ring. Austin comes in a limo, massive limo.
They call it the Liminator.
Trucks, yeah.
They call it the Limonator, yeah.
Oh Lord, yeah. And he gets in the limo in a monster truck limo, and it's gets to the ring, and Vince slaps him in the face, and then does a runner. Yeah. I thought that's great stuff. The old slap and run. Mankind and his mystery opponent, Mabel. Good old Mabel. King Mabel, as he was known. Yep. And in a weird way, in another dimension, he was probably the third man in the NWO. if you ever believe Dave Meltzer.
I mean, I loved Mabel in Men on a Mission. I absolutely loved Men on a Mission when I was growing up. Mo and Mabel. I loved them.
Oscar.
Yeah, and Oscar. I thought they were great, man. They used to hype the crowd. They were absolutely great. When he won the King of the Ring, King Mabel, he was absolutely huge in the early 90s. Body size. He'd slimmed down a little bit now.
He's still a unit here.
He was an absolute unit, but he could move as well. He was another one of these big guys that could actually move.
Yeah. The match goes to a DQ. The Rock comes out and starts beating down on Mankind. And to close this show of Heat, this is possibly the greatest and weirdest end to a show. You just see Patterson and Briscoe oiling Vince.
I mean, yeah.
How wonderful that we got to see that.
I mean, Patterson was fucking probably creaming his pants over that shit, wasn't he? Rubbing down Vinnie Mac with some oil,
Probably
baby.
the suggestion.
Shit.
No, we need more oil, Vince.
Yeah, we need more.
And that's Heat. That was it was very quick. I mean, in between some of the in one of the matches, they were hyping another show on Heat. I think La Femme Nikita or something random like that.
Oh, right.
Like, but these were on at the same time as the pay-per-view, so it must have been a bit strange to try and hype a show on another channel when you've got your own live shit going on straight after this. And this is where we get to our big show. For those that haven't watched or don't remember, Chris watches the VHS.
Correct. Here it is in all its beauty. And funnily enough, inside there's an advert for the SmackDown video game.
Oh, amazing. What game that was.
As well, on the PlayStation. So yeah, genuine VHS. We do it with every single one. I'll watch the VHS. Jordan watches the network. Like I say, I do have the network, but I also have a shitload of VHSs. So
and you never know what you find or what you miss out on.
That's correct. You know, and we like to, as we're watching 90s pay-per-views, we like to watch them on the formats that it came out at that time. So that is the VHS. WWF Royal Rumble, No Chance in Hell, Royal Rumble 1999.
And here we are. I have 10-10-220, whatever that was, presents the Royal Rumble.
10-10-220.
Yeah, from the Arrowhead. This must be some phone thing. From the Arrowhead,
okay.
Yeah, in Anaheim, California.
Yeah, baby. January 24th.
Big crowd, lots of signs. It's it's a Royal Rumble, man. Like it's the second biggest show of the year. I think a lot of people look forward to the Royal Rumble more than they do WrestleMania sometimes.
Yeah, because the good thing about Royal Rumble is there was always this thing of if you win the Royal Rumble, you are going to WrestleMania. And a lot of the time there was a shot at the end of the Royal Rumble where they were pointing up to the sign of WrestleMania, like, right, I'm going to WrestleMania and I'm going for the title. That was like the big lead up to WrestleMania was, right, if you win the Royal Rumble, and over the years they've had some fantastic stories of, you know, who's been in the Rumble, who's going to win it, who's going to be number one contender.
Your favourite Royal Rumble match? Do you have one?
Very, very difficult. Very difficult.
We're live, baby. That's why I ask him these things. I get him to try and think on the spot.
It's true. To be honest, it was either what you'll find with the Royal Rumble matches and what they started to do over the years, they've started to be a lot more creative with it. Back in the day, you would have, you know, I mean, this is the 12th annual Royal Rumble. So the first one was what, 1987 or whatever, okay? 88, right? So, you know, back in them days, you would literally have every single fucking wrestler in the ring at one time. You know, they would have them. They'd have the first two, and then another one to come, and then they'd build it up, and most of the time it would just be like a mound of bodies in the ring. But to be honest, this Royal Rumble match is probably way up there for me as one of my favourites, just because, like I was saying to you before we come on the air, they were so creative with this Rumble. There was a few people that actually got knocked out too quick for my liking, but it was comedic in the way it happened. It was creative in the way it happened. The way they'd set up the match and that, you know, I mean, this Rumble for me is way up there as one of my best ones. So yeah, I mean, this one's a great Rumble, great Rumble.
Okay, for anyone that cares about, you know, what I think of a Royal Rumble, mine is 1992 because it led to this WrestleMania match right here.
That was a great Rumble, and like I say, those Rumbles there was a lot going on, and it was some of them were absolutely fantastic. I was going to say 92, 93.
Incredible. 92 thing.
Really good rumble. So like you say, the early 90s ones, 92, 93, really good. And like I say, this one here, 99. And then there was a couple in the early 2000s that were really good as well.
I'm also about to lose a lot of credibility because I like 2020's Royal Rumble.
Fair play, dude. You
I
know,
liked it. I liked the whole story of Lesnar just launching people out for the first 15 people.
great.
It was different. It was the first time you'd seen that, like, him just from number one, just launching people out left, right, and centre. Like,
I swear Diesel did that once, didn't he?
Diesel, yeah, I mean, that's what got him over. I mean, that's something we can talk about, when we go that far back, to another Rumble. But yeah, that was that's what got him his title push.
That's right.
Jerry the King Lawler and Michael Cole are our commentators for the evening. Jim Ross he had a bout of Bell's palsy, I think, at this time.
Right.
You wouldn't see him again until WrestleMania.
Just very quickly, I don't know if you got the exclusive Silver Vision video exclusive.
I didn't get that.
You didn't get that, baby. There was an exclusive bit of video footage where you had Road Dogg Jesse James, Boss Man, Double J, Cornette, Mark Henry, all at the beginning talking about that $100,000 bounty on Stone Cold Steve Austin, which we haven't spoken about yet. So Vince McMahon offered $100,000 to anyone who could get Austin out of the Rumble, because we already know the first two numbers in the Rumble, who's going to be number one and number two, because it was in a video package that they'd spoken about before. So this whole pay-per-view is called No Chance in Hell, and the reason why it is called No Chance in Hell is because that is what Vince McMahon said to Stone Cold Steve Austin. He said, "You have got no chance in hell of winning the Royal Rumble." Actually, he said, "You've got no chance in hell of ever becoming World Wrestling Federation champion again." And then he said, obviously, no chance in hell of you winning the Royal Rumble. And when they did the draw, they fixed it and they pulled out.
Oh, it looked random to me.
Was it random? Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah. So basically, they blagged it. Also, just quickly, there's another bit of fakery in this pay-per-view that really annoyed me and really upset me, and we'll get to it. And it's a bit that really pissed me off. And when we get to it, you'll know.
Okay.
Austin being drawn as number one doesn't piss me off, but the fact that it was manufactured and fake, that they gave him number one, and that was the gimmick of the thing, that obviously they wanted him to be number one, so then he had no chance in hell of becoming of winning the Rumble. And basically what they did was made Mr. McMahon number 30 in the Rumble. But who was the commissioner of
Commissioner Michaels.
It was Commissioner. It was Shawn Michaels. That's correct.
Changed it and made Vince number two.
He super kicked him in the face, in the mush, and made him number two. So then Mr. McMahon put this bounty out and said, "I will give whoever $100,000. And he talks about it later in the pay-per-view. He said, "I'll take out $100,000 from Shane's trust fund and give it to someone. I don't care." Because obviously Shane went against him, but then actually came back, didn't he? And screwed Austin over when he brought him back in. Because he was fired. Shane McMahon brought him back in and screwed him. So, this exclusive bit of video footage, Silver Vision video footage that you only get on the VHS, is an interview. It's a little bit where they're cutting in and out with the Road Dogg Jesse James, the Big Boss Man, all talking about what they would do with this $100,000 and the bounty. You've got Double J talking about a couple of bits as well. And you also have Jim Cornette, funnily enough, talking about China talking a hell of a lot about China and saying things like, China wants to play with the big boys. She wants to come in and be there with the men, and she's going to have to, they're not going to treat her like a lady and all this kind of stuff. And
Well, this is it. China makes history
yes,
on this night, and it's something that I think is a little bit glossed over in the history of WWE nowadays.
yeah,
China would be the first woman in the Royal Rumble, like ever. She won a mini gauntlet rumble on Raw to be number 30. She eliminated Vinnie Mac, as Shane likes to call him, eliminated Vince last. So yeah, she gets the number 30 spot, and yeah, that's where we go. But our first match, our opener, hardcore champion Road Dogg, now from DX. Now this is a strange one, against the Big Boss Man, who is one half of the tag team champions with Ken Shamrock.
That's right, and part of
And
the corporation.
the pop for Road Dogg. I mean, we all remember DX being over as hell, but like Road Dogg was mad on the mic, wasn't he?
And partly this is the reason why I'm wearing this t-shirt today, because at no other time in history did you have an intro or someone who was so over with the crowd as Road Dogg and Mr. Arse with their intro. As soon as you heard the do 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 do, oh you didn't know, do 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 do, your ass better call somebody, like the whole intro of that, the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D-Generation. I know every single word to it, and I'm sure you do, and I'm sure everyone from that era can repeat line for line the D-Generation X, New Age Outlaws intro, and it's the same with Enzo Amore and Big Cass. With the, my name is Enzo Amore, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this here is Big Cass. It's the same sort of thing. You had whole arenas, not just little pockets of fans. You had the whole arena would literally erupt. They were over as fuck, man. They were just over.
Now, Boss Man comes out dressed in what I can only just be describe as peak Shield attire.
He was
Shield borrowed it from Boss Man.
He was the Shield before the Shield.
He looks like he could he could have easily just replaced Dean Ambrose whenever he felt like it.
Oh, he was getting on at this point, dude. Boss Man. I mean, Boss Man was he'd gone through, the initial Big Boss Man, late 80s, early 90s. This is 1999. He'd already been in WWF on and off for 11, 12 years.
Well, he had he was, we spoke about the Carson City Silver Dollar on a pole match thing with John Tenter in 96. And this, he makes his way back to the WWF in 1998.
Yeah.
As like Vince's security. And he can still go.
Can still go.
He can still go. It's not your, traditional wrestling match. It's never going to be. Boss Man gets a couple of shots to the balls, which isn't pretty.
We'll
talk about ball shots later on, because I wince when I see one.
Yeah, there's a couple of in this match. There's, like I say, the huge pop for Road Dogg and the intro, and he's got a few early suckets as well. If you can see in the video what is going on right now, there's a few early suckets, and there's also when he gets his, basically Road Dogg bashes Boss Man's balls on the post. He pulls his nuts on the post, and then you see him get in the ring and then mock him, and you hear him say, "Oh, my balls," like that, like quite loud into the camera. So this was never, they're never going to be your wrestling match, your wrestling match. There's a little thing from the King where he says, "Oh, bad cop, you get no donut." About
Jerry Lawler was really good in this match because when Boss Man is sort of choking Road Dogg on the ropes, facing the commentary team, you know, Boss Man shouting at King, "Tell him who the man is."
yeah,
And
tell him who
King's
the man
going, "You
is.
the man, you the man."
You're the man. It's so good, and it's like
And
the one thing it is quite weird as well, where you've got a policeman choking someone, saying, "Can he breathe?" Did you hear that?
oh, yeah, I did. I tried not. I didn't want to. I didn't want to bring that up.
Yeah, I had to, man. I had to write it down because of everything going on at the moment. Like, I just
Yeah,
heard that. I mean, this is 1999, obviously, but he's supposed to be a policeman, the big boss man, and his nightstick and
well,
that. And
he's security at this point. He's a security
he's
too.
security, all right. He's
Yeah,
security. He's like,
that
well,
doesn't
like
sound good for security though, does it either?
like Craig and Day Day in Friday After Next. Top flight security, top flight. Yeah. So it's one thing that annoyed me with Boss Man as well in this though. Um, he was getting battered and he was supposedly knocked out, and he was adjusting his glove when he was supposed to be like knocked out. It's just a bit weird. Like he's just
Maybe it was irritating him.
yeah, but it's not as bad as Shawn Michaels chewing his chewing gum when he was supposed to be knocked out by Mike Tyson in WrestleMania 14. But anyway,
But yeah, Boss Man takes the flare bump off the top rope,
yeah.
and he's no spring chicken at this point. No, neither was Flair, and this is an out of nowhere. Boss Man hits the big slam, the big old sidewalk slam thing.
It looks like
He
a
gets the win.
sit down rock bottom.
Kind of, yeah, and gets the win. It's non-title, so nothing changes. It just sort of came out of nowhere, and there it was. They skipped straight on to the next match. I don't know if you get any more Silver Vision exclusives, but yeah, they go straight into our Intercontinental title match of the evening.
We get a bit of footage in the lead up, just showing Billy Gunn
Oh, Billy Gunn showing his ass, yeah.
to Ryan Shamrock. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Billy Gunn against our champion Ken Shamrock, who is a double champion because he's also one half of the tag champions.
Correct.
Now I'm gonna veer off a bit on Shamrock. This guy is legitimately tough. Like, to the point, he's a UFC super fight champion. He was in the tournaments, like won and stuff, like when it was like bare knuckle.
If to be the ultimate. I mean, I have all of these UFCs from all the early ones, all the way through to about number 10, and I watch them regularly. And you had to win 3 fights in one night against different weight classes of people. So you could be in there against a sumo wrestler, against a kickboxer, against a wrestler, against a judo player. It could be anyone. There's also another Ultimate Fighter in this Royal Rumble somewhere as well.
Later on, yeah. Do you think it was Ken's slight lack of charisma that held him off getting the championship, the big one?
You're fucking trying to goad me to mention someone, aren't you?
Oh no, I'm not. Absolutely not. This is a genuine question about Ken Shamrock, and because an interview with Jim Cornette, I think it was on Kayfabe commentaries,
right?
Says like when Brett was moaning about dropping the title to Shawn Michaels, Jim Cornette suggested just put him in there with Shamrock.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone would have wanted that for Brett. But the guy was legitimately tough. He was just a proper face.
Go on.
Do you think it was a lack of charisma?
No, I thought he had charisma. I thought he had quite more than someone else.
I mean, I know Jim Ross also mentioned about him not being the model professional, always being on time for shows, not always showing up. But I think Ken, could have had something.
The thing is, Ken Shamrock this was not his only time in professional wrestling. He was in Memphis or other places before as well.
He trained under Buzz Sawyer, of all people.
With what?
He trained under Buzz Sawyer, that maniac.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock had been in the professional wrestling business. He knew what the business was about, you know. And there's that story from years ago about the Nasty Boys and him, you know, and that was years back before this. You know, so you know, he knew about the wrestling business. He knew how it worked. He legitimately had that look about him, like he would fucking kick your
Slightly insane.
ass.
Yeah. He looked slightly insane with his, you know.
I mean, look at him. Look at on the back of the VHS, right near where our faces are in this video, if you can see. You know, him in the ankle lock. Whenever he had someone in the ankle lock, he'd always just be screaming, like he wouldn't even be, you know, saying, "Oh, ref, check him, ref, check him." He literally would just be opened wide-eyed, you know, screaming.
Yeah, I don't think it was a little too far from his character at that point.
No, it was great. You know, it's there's a such. I mean, King was on fire in this
I've
pay-per-view.
got. I think Michael Cole is still a little green, but King is, yeah, thick and fast with the comments, shouting at Ken Shamrock, "He mooned your sister."
Yeah, it's so good. And he's like, "Oh, he smells blood. He smells blood." And Shamrock goes out to the side, right? And there's a load of kids.
I've got this. Giving him the finger.
They're giving him the finger, right? They've all, like, literally a whole row of about 20 people. And the King says, look at those kids. They think Shamrock's number one.
Number one, yeah, that's quality.
It's just so good, you know, like.
The match itself is a little messy. Billy Gunn hits his shoulder on a ring post. Shamrock then starts working over the leg, you know, standard sort of stuff. Ken hits a perfect plex.
Yeah.
Which I quite liked
Yes.
for a close two.
Very good.
And then our referee, Tim White, I think it is, gets wiped out by a clothesline. Like, what were you doing there in the first place, Tim? Get out of the way. And then, like, randomly, Val Venus comes out. I know he had a run-in with Ken Shamrock a couple of weeks before, maybe on a Raw, which we didn't go back to, but hits Ken with a DDT. It's a really close 2 count as well.
I didn't like that style of DDT that he did just for an off. You know, the DDT where you pull them so far round you can see them do like it's not like a front bump where it smacks the front of their face on the floor. It's where you pull them over and it looks like, and they go over rather than, you know what I mean? And it just it don't look legit, man. That's one thing I didn't like. I mean, I love Val Venus. And there is
there's a soundbite I didn't think I'd ever get.
I love Val Venus, dude. Don't get me wrong, man. He's fucking great. And the thing is, was this the lead up to Ryan Shamrock stars in Val Venus's porno in the shower thing?
Oh, I can't remember that far back without having to go back and watch it.
Because there's a thing where Ryan Shamrock it comes out with Val Venus, and they have a little feud, Val Venus and Ken Shamrock, and it's like, Shamrock's in the ring. They show on the big screen Val Venus in the shower and Ryan Shamrock's in the shower with him.
That man couldn't keep it to himself, could he?
So, hello, ladies. Like I say, later on in this pay-per-view, there is a fan that is doing an ode to Val Venus, and it is fucking brilliant. It's like smack bang in the middle of the screen for about 4 or 5 seconds, and it is fucking amazing.
Yeah, we had a great 2 count. Fans were really into it, and then Billy tapped to the ankle lock. It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we have, our winner, still champion, Ken Shamrock. Backstage, we've got Vince with Shane and his stooges, Del Briscoe.
Sorry,
we're
dude.
We're going to cut away to a Silver Vision exclusive, aren't we?
No. That bit about the Val Venus fan was in this match. It was on the second page of me notes. Basically, you've got Val Venus comes running in, DDT Shamrock, and then the King goes, "Oh, I can't stand cheaters." And then you look to the crowd, right? and there is a fan with his shirt off, a towel on his head, a towel around his waist, and he's gyrating like that.
I don't think I've got that.
Oh, it's so good. It's amazing. And it's during this match. It is absolutely fantastic. It is.
Does it beat the double denim guy with the Sting mask?
Dude, yes. It is.
Okay.
Like, you can't miss it. He's literally like this, right? Just like, you know, I'm going to gyrate for our video viewers. But he's got his shirt off. He's taken his shirt off. And he's got like a towel on his head. And it's just. Oh, it is amazing bit of like. The fans were white hot, man. I mean, this was California, height of the Attitude Era. So many signs. Signs would be involved in matches as well, getting thrown at people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the point where you saw the gyrating fan with his shirt off. Brilliant. Sorry.
Backstage with Vince, Shane, and Briscoe and Patterson. And Vince, I noticed this because Vince is wearing WWF joggers.
Oh, so good.
He must have pulled out some serious dead stock. I mean, how long ago had the WWF been gone?
But man, you know what? Yeah, Vince was hitting that ICO Pro.
Oh, lovely, that stuff. ICO Pro, baby. That'll rip you out to shreds. Well, yeah, we only made a joke of it earlier about someone else, didn't we? But we won't name.
Yeah, yeah, that was. Yeah, we won't share that on the air.
Our next match is it's just EU, the European Championship. It's Gangrel and X-Pac, our champion, and this is where I noted DX. It's a pretty DX heavy show.
Indeed,
they're clearly like they must be they're over by far, but you know they're in every match so far. It's a bit weird.
I'm a huge fan of Gangrel. I don't think anyone has ever done the vampire gimmick like Dave. Lovely guy. I've met him before. I'll keep saying it again. Met him, got a sick picture with him, got his autograph. Really lovely bloke. If people don't know, he was with the lovely Luna Vachon for a very long time. This was the time where he was the leader of the Brood. With Edge and Christian. There's signs in the crowd that says Brood, got blood. You know, it was Gangrel was fucking over, man. He really was. And if I'm honest, I would have loved to have seen him with some gold. But the fact is, his character didn't need a strap to make him legitimate.
It didn't. You're right. His character was strong enough that he didn't need championships to hold and stuff. Now this is a good match.
Good, really good match.
Really good match. Yeah. Michael Cole is starting to annoy me. He said so far in every match, both men will do double duty, and you know they're both in the Rumble. And it's like, all right, you said that already. We sort of know.
There was no dynamic. Yeah, there was no dynamic between him and the King. The King kept this going with just his great. I mean, if it wasn't for the King, it would have been absolutely dead.
Yeah, this is
commentary.
the King at his best, like for sure. This is Jerry Lawler like playing cheerleader for, you know, the corporation and stuff. It's some of his best work. You know,
he says Gangrel would make a great European champion. That's where Transylvania is, right?
Got that. There's a double arm underhook belly to belly suplex.
I've got that written down as well from Gangrel. Brilliant.
It's just incredible, yeah.
Gangrel could wrestle.
Yeah, lots of kicks from X-Pac, lots of, you know, spin kicks and, you know, leg lariat type things. Something you would expect from the Kid, as they like to call him. King notes that it's past 1 a.m. in the UK. And it's a thrill for the people of South Africa, where it's past 3 in the morning.
Yeah, to hear the King.
And yeah, it's this match is so smooth. It's just really well done. Gangrel misses a flying elbow. You get that flying clothesline from X-Pac where he he's not flying from the top rope. He just runs and like hits him with a clothesline, flips over. I always thought it was really good. And
Yeah.
we get a Bronco Buster as well.
We get a Bronco Buster, you know, and the good thing that he actually split his arsehole doing one of them once.
I'm trying to have a drink, man.
I'm sorry. He actually split his ring piece doing that once, a Bronco Buster. But I mean, Gangrel was great in this match. He was, you know, he's legitimately tough. I mean, he's fucking massive in real life.
It looked like he got a 3 count as well.
He did look like he got a 3 count, and like I say, he just kept coming. Like they even say in commentary, like he's relentless, Gangrel. He just kept coming back and coming back.
There's a reverse, like there's a flying crossbody that gets reversed, and Teddy Long is our referee.
Yes.
And carries on. And it's like, and you get the "you fucked up" chants from the small section of the crowd.
Yeah.
And Gangrel runs into an X Factor.
Yeah.
And X Pac wins. DX's first win of the night. And like I said, I loved it. It was really good. Like the best of the non sort of main match, best of the undercard matches for me. I'll take that.
Yeah.
We cut over to Kevin Kelly, unless Silvervision have got anything for me.
No, we've got Kevin Kelly and D-Generation X, and X-Pac comes running in just after the match to make this this interview.
All we've got really, and that's all I took away, is Triple H says every man for himself, and China dips in and says "and woman," and that's it.
That's right.
And then we have a very young Shane McMahon walk into the ring to introduce Luna. Who takes on Sable in a strap match for the Women's Championship.
Can I just quickly pop my light on? It's a bit dark. I've never done this during the show before. Just to show me face. Just to show me face a little bit more. Not that anybody wants to see it, but because it was light when we started, I didn't have my light on, but now it's a little bit brighter, so people can see us a little bit more.
I had this problem in episode 1 when someone told me it was getting dark, so I had to keep it on forever. We have a strap match for the Women's Championship, and it's a weird one. Shane demands that Sable come out and forfeit the championship after her back injury. And Shane joins the commentary team because Sable refuses. She says, "Ring the bell."
What?
And this match has a lot of like issues and a lot of backstory to it.
There's a lot.
And I don't really want to say too many bad things about Sable because Brock Lesnar would come and kill us. So
it's not necessarily that. So this whole pay-per-view in 1999, a huge amount of backstage stuff can be seen on this documentary right here called Beyond the Mat.
What a show that was.
One of the greatest wrestling documentaries you will ever see. WWF allowed the people that made it, Barry Blaustein or Bluestein, however you want to pronounce it. So Barry was allowed backstage at WWF. They signed off all his footage. WCW would not sign off his footage. And you see a lot of stuff going on in a lot of this pay-per-view is heavily featured in this documentary. So if you're gonna watch Royal Rumble 1999 No Chance in Hell, also watch Beyond the Mat as well, which I also have on VHS, obviously. You would see Vince Russo talking to Sable and Luna in the documentary, saying when Blaustein's trying to explain how wrestling works and all this, and you've got Vince Russo just saying, right, just sell the back to the point where we don't think you're going to be able to compete. was his actual line. I've seen Beyond the Mat so many times, I know it fucking line by line. So literally, you've got Vince Russo saying, look, sell the back to the point where they don't think you're going to continue anymore. And then it cuts to footage of Sable just before this match coming out, selling the back.
Not very well.
Not very well. Fucking poorly. And instead of going in on Sable, no, fuck it, I'm gonna go in on Sable, right? Yeah, sorry, dude. If Brock wants to come and see me, he can come and see me, bruv. I'm easy to find. Mr. Lesnar, come and find me. Anyway.
Even then, you called him Mr. Lesnar, so you're still a bit worried.
Oh, well, obviously the geezer's a beast. You know, he could, you know, like I think Joe Rogan's got a bit about Brock Lesnar where it says he would use me as a condom to fuck someone else.
Well.
In a bit, he's like, no, if he wants to fuck you, he will fuck you. Like he would just, you know, you can't do anything. So yeah, I am gonna go in on Sable a little bit because I really like Luna Vachon and I really like Gangrel, and I've heard many a story from both of them about what happened in this little, you know, situation between Luna Vachon and Sable, where basically Luna Vachon, she comes from the wrestling family, the Vachons. She messed up her voice box because she tried to speak like Mad Dog all throughout her life, and she messed it up where the point where she damaged her vocal cords. You know, and all Luna wanted to ever be was WWF Women's Champion. It was one of her dreams. You know, she had a lot of demons. Even Gangrel says in a really, really good shoot interview, you know, he says, look, they had both of them had bad drug, alcohol problems. Luna she had her issues and stuff, and she stopped drugs for a bit, and then she started going back on them, and that's when they reckon she died because of that. So rest in peace, Luna Vachon. But basically, Sable was. Let me just try and put this a little bit nicer. She was like a fucking good politician. Let's just say, shall we?
Let's do that.
She was supposed to drop the strap to Luna Vachon on possibly 3 different occasions, and for whatever reason she never did. She managed to always either politic her way out of it or give another spin. Oh, but okay, well, maybe let's not do that, let's do this, or blah blah blah. So it led to Luna Vachon and attacking Sable while everybody was eating lunch one day, and Gangrel's sitting there. Gangrel, can you imagine, dude? Gangrel and Stephanie McMahon Helmsley were like really good friends, and they used to eat lunch together. You can imagine like Gangrel and you know, Steph McMahon like just sitting there eating and whatever, and you know, Sable sitting at the table, and Luna comes in, grabs Sable, you know, starts smashing her on the table, food's going everywhere, and Gangrel's just looking up at Steph and just eating like, yeah, great, look what's going on. You know, so and then basically Mark Merrow said something in front of Gangrel and said, you know, oh, that she's fucking mental or whatever, and he said, look, I'm not being funny, like, I don't want any part of what they're arguing about. He said, but don't just sit here and talk shit about Luna to my face and think that I'm not going to do anything. Like, you know, she's my missus. Like, don't think you can just chat shit. And then I think Gangrel ended up sparking Mark Merrow as well. So there's a lot of heated backstage stuff going on between Luna and Sable. There was for a long time, and this is. You even highlighted some things to me about this match.
Yeah, the stuff I've got is that Sable complained that Luna worked too stiff. And, I mean, is it stiff? Who knows? I mean, I couldn't see anything that was...
But Sable weren't a wrestler, bro.
Yeah, that's partially it. Sable wasn't a wrestler, and Jim Cornette would complain and openly in booking meetings at the time because they would spend more time worrying about what Sable would be wearing than on actual wrestling. And Jim's a wrestling guy,
Yeah.
so it used to drive him up the wall. The match itself is the strap match, and Sable starts going in with the strap, and we spoke about strap matches before in other episodes, and I think it was Buff Bagwell and Scotty Riggs,
Yeah.
and it's not fun. It's not easy to take those sort of welts, and you notice in the match that Sable gets all the strap, like she hits Luna a ton of times with the strap. The amount of times that Luna hits Sable with the strap, 0.
Yeah. If anything, Luna wraps the strap round her hands and then
Yeah.
pulls punches and starts attacking the back. And even when Luna was attacking the back, she wasn't really hitting her. She wasn't really laying in the shots at all.
And I've got here, this match is just hokey. It's not very good.
It's horrible. I would have loved to have seen Luna just choke the shit out of Sable, drag her around the ring with the strap, and then just hit the 4 corners and get the title.
His name's Chris Brock, if you're listening. It's Chris.
No, I don't give a shit, man. No, she weren't a wrestler. She was there for TNA. Not total non-stop action. But she was there for TNA. Luna was a legit wrestler. She, is from one of the most feared wrestling families in the business, and she was made to basically fucking work so light that it looked hokey.
Yeah. There's not a lot going on in this match. A fan jumps and Baron clocks Luna before she can hit the 4th turnbuckle. This would later on be Tori, is that right?
Yes, that is Tori. Yeah.
This fan. And
it was a stalker, weren't it? Apparently, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Again, it's not a great story, and Sable gets the win, and there we go. We move on. And in the back, we have a really it's almost like a 2-second sort of cut of the Boss Man telling Shamrock and Test about how they're gonna, get the
money.
bounty.
Yeah,
that's it. We have a really long promo video because up next is the I Quit match for the WWF Championship, and it's going to be The Rock and Mankind. They have a really long promo, sort of vid, detailing their whole histories, even going back as from I think the Survivor Series of '98, and what happened there. And at the time, Mankind is the champion, and there is a funny little clip where he says The Rock's not championship material when he turns down his title match.
Yeah.
West, yeah.
It's on Raw.
Yeah. And we've got our Doc Hendricks appearance. He's with the Rock, and the Rock just goes off with his catchphrases. That's what I got here. He's going to prove he's the great one. He is brilliant on the mic.
This promo as well. You see backstage footage of this promo in Beyond the Mat. Again, this whole event is documented in Beyond the Mat. It's one of the great Rock promos where he says, do you know what really befuddles The Rock? He used the word befuddles. It's great. It's, they're playing up that this match, they're already playing up that this match will not be stopped for anything, including excessive blood. Which is something we will get to. And you've got to remember as well, this Mankind was the face in this. Mankind was the good guy. When he won the title, he was lifted on people's shoulders. The Rock was the heel. He was the corporation. It was the corporate elbow. It weren't the people's elbow.
Yeah. The problem with this is that The Rock is so good on the mic that when his music hits and he makes his way to the ring, there's big cheers.
Oh
and you
yeah.
can't. Yeah, like it's just. I mean, he's just too good on the mic for. So it's like I'll try and bring up a slightly more recent one of Mr. Kennedy.
Yep.
He's too good on the mic to be a heel. I mean, they did try and push him as the heel and stuff, but because he had the catchphrases and stuff, it didn't work. He was too good. He wasn't too good in the ring, obviously, but
No, it's it's funny. I'm going to mention TNA again. You mentioned Mr.
here we
Kennedy.
go.
He was even good in
Mr. Anderson. Sorry for
Mr. Anderson. Yeah,
anyone ever watched TNA and accidentally watched it for a minute or two.
when he was in that, he was Mr. Anderson. He was in Aces and Eights. Do you remember them?
No,
No. So he was in a little faction with the Dudley Boys and all that, and he turned. There was a match between Sting and Bubba Ray Dudley, where Sting or Bubba Ray had pulled the corner of the ring back just to show the wood on the ring, and he was going to slam Sting down. Anyway, Mr. Anderson came down, was supposed to give him the hammer, and ended up just throwing it and screwing him over. And then he got into Bubba Ray's face, and he was like, "Do you know what my name is?" Mister, and then like you say, the catchphrases. He was very good on the mic, and the
yeah,
mic used to come down from the ceiling, and he used to grab it. It was good.
yeah. It was really good. It was a really good bit. I mean, it didn't really click for him in the ring. I know he was meant to get a title run, but he got injured, and Edge, the ultimate opportunist, if you will,
Yeah.
was given that run. And yeah, it was. Yeah. Anyway, that was my quick run off to Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
But check out those sideburns on the Rock.
Oh, they were. Oh, great.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
incredible, almost pork chop style sideburns that he's got. Uh, Jerry Lawler pays a little tribute to his good friend Jim Ross and says that this will be the ultimate slobber knocker. He ain't wrong.
No.
This is Mankind makes his way out to some cheers. Not, I don't even think it's as a bigger pop for the as he gets for the Rock.
Well,
Like
like you
Rock,
say, it's probably been watered down because they've already seen him once that night.
and yeah, that's right. Second appearance of the evening. Our referee is that cheater Earl Hebner. No one likes Earl. And this is the second I Quit match we've done, and this is a billion times better than the one we did before.
Yeah, the one we did before was WrestleMania 11. It was Bret the Hitman Hart versus uh,
Backlund,
Bob
yeah.
Backlund, and it had the special guest referee of Rowdy Roddy Piper.
And it was hideous.
It was hideous. It was comical. They made it too jokey. This was anything but funny.
Now, they did have a couple of laughs in there. When Mankind hits the Rock with the microphone, and the Rock is, he's got the microphone in the Rock's face, and Rock says, "I'm going to kick your fat ass," and stuff like that. It's
Yeah, you can kiss the Rock's ass.
Yeah, it's they can just slide in a few jokes, but still keep that it's a championship match. And
well,
this is incredible. I mean, it does take a turn, I will say, but we'll get to that. Mankind takes that bump into the steel steps, which has always been like a
fantastic.
Yeah, really good stuff. The Rock takes Michael Cole's headset.
Yeah.
And he tells the King to shut his mouth. Just going through that whole, Rock shtick.
Yeah.
Mankind gets a chair and uses it on the Rock, hits a double arm DDT while still trying to, stick the mic in his face and get him to quit. He pulls out Mr. Socko, that nasty, stinking, filthy sock, as King would say, and puts Rock down. And then he says he's going to split that ridiculous eyebrow of his.
Yeah, it's great.
I was chuckling at that one.
Yeah.
It's just a hell of a brawl. This, really something. I think it's the best match they had.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
up until the end.
up until the end, because again, I'll keep referring to Beyond the Mat, because anyone who wants to know the backstory of this match, um, Mick Foley obviously was the champion, and he had his wife and his kids at ringside for this match, and
I still think that was Mick's own fault.
it was Mick's own fault, but he wasn't to know that this match would go to the place that it went. Do you know what I mean? Um, it
Yeah, we'll get to that bit.
because there was a bit. So you can see they go out into the crowd and they're brawling and stuff, and I mean, as Mick comes into the ring at the beginning of the match, you can see his daughter Noelle and his wife at the side of the ring just as they get in, and then they have another. Match goes on for a bit, and then they go brawling into the crowd, right by where they are again, and then as they get back out, The Rock, as you can see on the VHS case right on the front here, The Rock grabs the bell, puts it on Mick Foley's.
There's one bit before that. There's the belly to belly over the barricade
Yes.
that Rock does to Mankind, and
Yes.
it's really tremendous. That is.
Brutal. I mean,
And
whatever you want to say about Mick Foley and whatever people say about Mick Foley, the stuff he would do in the ring and allow people to do to him just looked so legit and so badass that you can't say that the guy weren't a wrestler. He consistently put himself on the line. Consistently.
and the Rock gets the ring bell, as you can see on the cover of the VHS or the DVD copy or whatever, and he puts the bell on like Mankind's head and starts ringing it with the hammer, and then gets on the mic and sings "Bells Will Be Ringing."
It's so good, but he
you can hear
actually
the laughter
sings.
in the crowd.
Yeah, he sings it. The bells will be ringing, and then he puts the bell on his head again, bang, and dings it. You know, it's good stuff. These two great characters having a fucking shit kicking match was just, it was good stuff, man.
Now they get onto the Spanish announce table. This table is clearly green, doesn't know how to work.
Yep.
The table blew its own spot because it collapsed underneath him.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of seeing untrained tables.
Yeah.
In the wrestling business.
Untrained announce tables that don't know when to break, and they're breaking before people can rock bottom through them. It was
it's like
disgusting.
That one that did break in WCW like in '96 with the public. Like these tables, they need to learn how to work.
That's right.
That's my take on that.
Hot take.
Yeah, tables that can't work. There's a DDT on the floor by The Rock. It just, and then they they head back out they head back out into the entranceway. That's where the DDT is, and you're hearing Rocky chants.
Yeah.
And not what you want to hear for your top heel.
But he's also got people throwing signs at him as well. So there's people, and there would be later on people screaming, telling him to stop as well in the crowd.
Yeah, there would be. Mankind elbows a ladder.
Yep.
Then they climb up above like the entranceway into like, I guess there would be the cheap seats. And Mankind falls onto these speakers, are they?
Yeah, it's like they called it the electrical station or something. It's loads of wires and like speakers, but it doesn't look soft. It's definitely not a soft landing.
He bounces off it. And there's some sparks and the lights go out. And Shane comes out. Shane O'Mac comes out to try and end the match and say, this is it, he's done. And The Rock is having none of it. Says, he really lays it on thick. He's laying into him. and this is where it's going to get uncomfortable because he brings out the handcuffs and handcuffs Mankind behind his back. Mankind fights back a little bit, and this is the bit where he knees him. He drops and he lays him on the floor, and then just knees him in the balls. And
Yeah.
I'm like, or as King calls the corporate jewels.
The
And
corporate
I went back a bit. I was like, oh fuck.
It looked painful. The Rock was properly screaming as well when it happened. And may I say as well, Mick was already bleeding at this point from the head. And
Yeah.
again, people, please watch Beyond the Mat, because you see, I mean, Mick already had a scar which was already open on his head before this match even started from stuff that had gone on previously weeks before. His head was fucked already and needed plastic surgery before this match even started. And when you see what happens to him after this match on Beyond the Mat, you look at his head and you think, fuck me. Yeah, he has to see a plastic surgeon and all sorts. So, yes, he's got his hands handcuffed behind his back.
Yeah, the Rock grabs a chair, and
Yeah.
and it's time for the most electrifying move in sports entertainment. It's the corporate elbow.
Yep, with a
Straight from Titan Towers, yeah.
yeah, with a chair on Foley's head.
Yeah. So depending on whether you count that as a chair shot or not, it changes the number. Because Mankind refuses to give up, the Rock
He actually says, The Rock says, "Do you give up, you fat piece of piss," or something, and he says, "You'll have to kill me, Rock," is what he says. And then
Rock takes it literally.
He takes it literally, and he tries to fucking kill him.
We have two unprotected chair shots pretty quickly, just straight to the head. And at this point, you hear Jerry Lawler say, "Yeah, that's enough."
Yeah.
And I don't think that's Jerry. I don't think that's the King character. I think he's seen enough already. We get up to 5 chair shots, and Cole and King saying, "Come on, like he's had enough."
This is 5 unprotected chair shots to the top and the front of the head, and then, I mean, as it goes on, the Rock ends up clouting him on the back of the head a few times as well.
Yeah, and like I've got here, because it's not fun anymore. It gets up to 10.
Yeah.
10 chair shots, and I didn't want to watch anymore.
And neither did Mick Foley's wife or children, who were sitting at ringside. In Beyond the Mat, the guy that makes the documentary goes back to Mick after the match and says to him, "Have you seen the match?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "Do you want to see your children and your wife's reactions during the match?" And he makes Mick Foley watch his kids' reactions to what was happening in the ring. And bear in mind, at the beginning, Mick takes his kids out to meet the Rock, and he says, "Oh, Dadu and Rocky are just playing, right? And the Rock's like, "Yeah, we've been doing, guys, everything's cool, me and your dad are just blah blah blah." But when you're seeing the Rock crack your dad in the head with a metal chair, with his hands tied behind his back so he can't protect himself, this is something that they don't do in wrestling in WWF anymore, isn't it?
Well, no, there's no unprotected chair shots anymore,
and they rarely do chair shots as well.
They rarely do them to the head now. It's always to the body, to the back.
There was a couple of chair shots where Rock would do it to the back of his head as he was like going down, kind of thing, and it looked like the edge of the chair rather than the actual flat bit of the chair as well. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, I mean, even Mick says, like, even I was a bit pissed at the Rock after this one. And I mean, people like to say wrestling is predetermined. It's this, it's this, it's this. You cannot fake being hit in the head with a metal chair. You can't. And you can't fake it 10 times and, you know, a good 2 or 3 to the back of the head. And this end of this match is where I get pissed off with something that happens. Would you like me to elaborate?
Do it.
Because it's an I Quit match. And basically what happens is the chair shots, they're doing it in the middle of the ring. Mankind rolls out of the ring. The Rock follows him, keeps hitting him up the aisleway, and they get to 9 and 10 at the back of the head. Mick Foley hits the floor, and you can see he is not moving. He's out. He is completely out. And the Rock stands over him, puts the mic to his face. You can see his face isn't moving, and then they play over the tannoy. I quit. I quit.
That they used on that Mick had he'd done a bit on Heat, and they used that clip, yeah. And Rock wins.
Yeah.
Rock wins. Rock is the new champion. It is brutal. It's fucking brutal.
It's brutal. Very brutal.
You
it's
know,
up
Rock,
there.
Rock gets his heat though. He gets his heel heat. Which is, you know, I mean, for someone that was getting cheered at the beginning of the match, I mean, he kicks the stretcher over. I mean, that's proper heel. He kicks it over, so he kicks it. He moves people out of the way so he can stand over Mankind.
He actually kicks the medical. Yeah, he kicks the medical guy who's there helping Mick Foley trying to take his mask off.
Nothing. Not as bad as Abdullah the Butcher, though, kicking a stagehand.
No, it's not quite there. I mean,
no.
This pay-per-view would be the ultimate, let's just say, heel heat pay-per-view.
Eventually.
Because you don't often see, and I always say this, it's good to let heels win. Sometimes you need to let the heels win, and you need to let them be fucking brutal and dastardly and cheat, and you've got to let them get their heat, because then ultimately when the good guy wins again, it is just boom. And the heels, the corporation,
yeah,
and the heels are getting their heat, and the Rock really is hot.
Mick Foley refuses a stretcher and gets helped out on his feet. Like I said, this is an incredible match, just a really uncomfortable ending. So anyone that doesn't enjoy watching those chair shots anymore, just don't. Like, there's 10, so you can skip that. You know, we're telling you what happened. So we get a really long promo vid for what it should be for the Royal Rumble match itself, but it's just Austin.
It's just Austin. It's just Austin. Showing you, I tell you what was a really good match that they glossed over in this as well. The Undertaker Austin Buried Alive match.
Yeah, that's good.
And bear in mind, you know, Austin was fucked at this time. His neck and his back were absolutely screwed. He didn't have feeling.
He wouldn't leave until he wouldn't stop going. He would carry on till Survivor Series, wouldn't he? Just before Survivor Series, that was when he decided he would get the work done again. It is Rumble time. Howard Finkel is explaining the rules. Jerry Lawler is ripping into him.
He's saying, "Yeah, shut up, just get on with it.
Yeah, move on. We know the rules."
Yeah.
And yeah, we get a big pop for Austin. You know, he is the number one guy in the company. And Jerry Lawler insists that Vince has never lost a match in his life.
Yeah, he says he's never had one. He says he's never lost a match in his life.
And Vince comes out and he is ripped, much like we saw on Heat. He's oiled, he's ripped, he's looking, you know, really, really strong. The ICO Pro's kicking in.
Yeah.
And the place goes absolutely nuts. Austin gets Vince in the corner and starts stomping that mud hole.
I've got written on my notes, Austin number 1 pops, Vince number 2 ripped, Bell equals mud holes. And it's
Where's our director of mud holes when we need him?
Where's Dusty Rhodes, the
Yeah,
director of Mudholes? He's
Austin stomps on his balls, on Vince's balls, and the place loves it, everything. And we get to number 3 because I've got every guy listed here for some reason. I
Me
don't know
too,
why.
bro. The thing is, as well, Cole keeps mentioning, where would you see a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, doing this or looking like this, and he keeps mentioning that, CEO of a Fortune 500 company, in that. But yes, so
I don't remember Ted Turner jumping into World War Three or war games. So
no.
yeah, suck it, Ted.
At least Vince McMahon gave us every fucking match on the VHS, Ted.
He did. He gave you everything here. Number 3, Golga from the Oddities. It's John Tenter / Earthquake / Shark.
Yeah.
And yeah, Austin just launches him.
He comes in wearing a leather mask and a Cartman from South Park t-shirt.
Cartman t-shirt, yeah. And Austin and Vince go into the crowd at this point, and there's a sign that says McMahon's on juice.
Yeah.
King. No, he isn't. I'll just put underneath, yeah, that's the ICO Pro.
It's the ICO Pro, man. Vince on the juice.
And the corporation of, I think it's Test and Shamrock, Boss Man, lying in wait for Austin in a women's toilet.
Yeah, in the women's toilet, yeah. Because at this point, they go into the crowd fighting. Golga's just been eliminated. And then basically number 4, Darren Droz, ends up just puke. He's gotta puke. He's
Isn't that on Beyond the Mat as well?
That is on Beyond the Mat as well, guys. Please watch Beyond the Mat. Fucking hell, it is. Darren Drozdoff, when he starts training, he can throw up on command, and he was actually going to be called Puke. And he rings up his mum. He goes, "Mum, you're going to be proud of me. I'm now Puke." But he couldn't. The pressure of Vince McMahon. What? But do you want some coffee? Do you want some coffee? Do you want a drink? What, you're going to throw up? You're going to puke? He's got to puke.
Yeah,
that is
incredible. It's such a great clip.
It's amazing. It is a look. Beyond the Mat is a really good look behind the scenes of WWF. It is a really good look at wrestlers in general. Excuse me, I'm blimmin' yawning. A good look at Mankind, aka Mick Foley.
For anyone that's listening, Chris yawned and he hasn't had his ICO Pro yet. So
I ain't had my ICO Pro yet, man.
ICO Pro shake.
But I have had my juice. I've got
my. He's on the juice.
It's cranberry and strawberry today, guys. I'm going to cover over the brand so we don't get accused of product placement. It's really good stuff. Last week it was blueberry juice. But this is the good stuff. But yeah, it's
I'm on the Pepsi again. I don't care who I'm talking about. It's Pepsi.
Maybe we'll get a sponsorship, dude. That'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Beyond the Mat is a really good look into. It's got Jake the Snake Roberts on there. It's got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
Droz waits on his own for number 5 to come in, who's Edge.
Yep.
This is a young, and I'll say it, skinny Edge.
It is a very skinny Edge.
He's he's moved on from the days of Sexton Hardcastle or whatever, or Damon, whatever it was, Striker or something.
This was Brood Edge.
Yeah, and Joey Lawler just keeps talking about Austin and Vince like there's not another match going on in the ring.
They would keep cutting backwards and forwards, though, out to what was going on, because there would be stuff continually going on during the match.
Austin's about to be stretched out and put in an ambulance.
Yeah.
Number 6. Now, this is a good one. It's Gilberg.
It's Gilberg. And his entrance was just amazing. You had the people with the sparklers, and then they'd put him out with a fire thing, and he would give it that. Because what was his name? Like Johnny Gill or something?
Dwayne Gill, yeah.
Dwayne Gill, that's it, yeah. And he was Gilberg. It's just amazing.
It was a good rip, I think. It was something to keep you laughing, and I'm sure Bill didn't quite enjoy it. But
His music was great because it was Gilbert, Gil.
they'd always accused WCW of piping in the Goldberg chants, so I think it was just a way to keep knocking them. Number 7, because Gilbert just gets pushed out. That's it. He's
Yep.
done. Number 7 is the Lethal Weapon, or I think he's a bounty hunter now, isn't he?
Steve,
I
yeah.
was thinking of that picture. Yeah, Steve Blackman. What a character! He was part of Team Head Cheese or whatever it was, and
Yeah,
he had a huge match with Shane at a SummerSlam.
it was great.
Like,
Yeah, it was a hardcore
Yeah.
match.
Yeah, and King has predicted that Steve Blackman is going to win the Rumble. King gets a lot of picks. You know, he picks a lot of guys to win.
It's quality heel commentating that is it, but that's classic Bobby the Brain Heenan stuff.
And I mean, I'm going to say this like now because nothing's really happening in this Rumble at the minute. It is just name by name running in because they're just sort of like punch kick sort of stuff. Because number 8 is the winner of 2 UFC one night tournaments. It's Dan the Beast Severin.
Dan the Beast Severin. Yep.
And this guy is double tough, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Dan Severin was the
He
beast.
beat Ken Shamrock. You know, I think they traded wins. I think Shamrock might have beaten him once.
Yep.
And yeah, these two. Dan is in, and I think he's a little bit past it at this point as well, though. I think he entered the Brawl for All as well, didn't he?
Yes, correct.
And yeah, we're cracking on again. Number 9, Tiger Ali Singh, and this is the bit where I go. There's little action. There's not exactly huge stars here.
No, I mean it's funny though, but I actually used to like Tiger Ali Singh. The fact that when I was a kid, because he used to sit there in the crowd with his dad, Tiger Jeet Singh.
Yeah.
And they used to just mock people and take the piss. And that I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, I mean he was a fairly big guy, size wise. But not big stars.
And yeah, next up it's the Blue Meanie. From the Job Squad. This is Meanie when he's a little bit overweight and he's doing his jiggle. Sort of reminds me of the kid from the Goonies.
Yeah, doing the truffle shuffle.
Doing the truffle shuffle, yeah.
Just before you see the Meanie, you see Austin in the ambulance.
Yeah, and he's going to get carted away. Number 11, Mosh. It was meant to be Mosh, but we cut to the back. Well, this is a staple of Vince Russo. Cut into the back whenever you can.
Yeah, you missed it as well though, because we didn't. The only reason we knew it was Mosh is because they said it was Mosh, but you couldn't see what the fuck was going on.
But he gets beaten up by Mabel, and Mabel just takes his place. Like Rumble rules, just do what you want.
Yep.
Mabel comes out and he dumps out Dan the Beast. He dumps out Steve Blackman and
Tiger Ali.
Tiger Ali, yeah, and he gets rid of Droz and Meanie as well.
Yeah.
And then he just does all that in like the space of like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Because Road Dogg is up next. Road Dogg gets another decent pop. One of the biggest stars in this Rumble, which again, like, it's a little bit void of star power. This one. Edge hits Mabel low. And then Road Dogg throws out Edge. And before anything else can happen, the lights go again.
Yeah.
And Undertaker's music hits. I'm surprised he's not in the Rumble.
Yeah, maybe he was injured at this time or something. Or they were trying to build the Ministry of Darkness because this is where they kidnap Mabel.
Acolytes of Midian attack Mabel. And they bring him to the Undertaker. The Undertaker starts talking in riddles to him about God knows what, and they take him away. Chris's favourite wrestler is back out next.
Just after Ron Simmons falls over as they're going back out to the back, he trips over something as
Someone tries to just push him back up, didn't they?
yeah, it's funny as fuck, man. Ron Simmons just literally falls over. It's brilliant. And then yes, one of my favourite wrestlers comes out again, number 13 as well, of course.
Lucky number for some, not for him, because he's in there, what, 20 seconds?
He's in and out quick, which pissed me off. And
Gangrel.
it's Gangrel.
My Road Dogg, who seems to be the new favourite to win the Rumble. 14, one of Chris's other favourite wrestlers, Kurgan. Kurgan is a unit, but he's got no charisma, bless him.
No, he's not. He's from the oddities. Wearing tie-dye. Not as good as the American Dream Dusty Rhodes tie-dye from our last episode.
I mean, we're talking about like star power and how there's none, because next up it's
what does everybody want?
It's a vacuum, of Al Snow, because oh boy, Al Snow. I remember someone talking about him being a big star in TNA. I don't think that's true either.
That might have been me.
There's a few chants for head. Exactly. The styrofoam head's more popular now. That says it all.
Yeah, man.
And Road Dogg does us all a favour and chucks him out
very quickly. Yeah.
Now here, this one made me laugh because 16 is Gold Dust, and he'd had a weird year in '98, Dustin, because he'd been dressing up in all sorts over the year, and then he found religion and all that, and now he's back as Gold Dust again. And Jerry Lawler says the acorn doesn't fall too far from the tree, and that applies to Gold Dust. I'm like, okay.
He's having a pop at Dusty.
Well, clearly, yeah, but I'm not sure how that works. I don't remember Dusty dressing up in all gold and
polka dots.
Yeah, I thought it was Now, this is a Road Warrior pop, number 17.
Yeah, but it's more than likely for the hose.
The Godfather comes out and he's got his hose with him.
Yeah.
And there's a chant going of "We want hose," and also I'm like, I mean, you couldn't do this nowadays, could you?
And the King's like, "Where are the hose going?" Like when they're, he stops them halfway down the runway. The Godfather says, "Oh no, just wait there because it's dangerous." We've also just got the Road Dogg in the ring, mocking Gold Dust, like giving it the.
Yes, he does that.
Mocking him.
Godfather with the hose. Number 18 is Kane, and he's one of the bigger guys in this Rumble. Kane, I think he had at one point the all-time record for eliminations, because he just launches Road Dogg, Kurgan, Godfather, Gold Dust, and stands on his own to a big ovation. And they don't capitalize on this because some knobheads in white coats come out.
Yeah, they're basically
the institution or something.
What was it, Sunnyview Institution or something, where he grew up? They were trying to capture him, and then Kane eliminates himself by stepping over the top rope to chase out the men in white coats.
Yeah, he goes through the crowd, doesn't he? He leaves through the crowd as well. With number 19 is Ken Shamrock, and as Shamrock is coming out, Vince returns.
Yep.
And takes a seat at the commentary table, and this is what cracks me up, because they say you're not going to get in there with Ken Shamrock, and he goes, "What, are you nuts?"
Yeah, he goes, "What, are you nuts?" It's so good. It was absolute gold. He gets at ringside, and he gets at commentary, and he says, Austin's in an ambulance. He's out of here. He's gone.
Accomplished. Yeah, he's accomplished what he needed to do.
Yeah, that's it, and that's why he's not getting back in, because at this point, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon, neither of them have been eliminated. They both rolled out.
Yeah, went under the ropes. Yeah. Number 20, doing his best Texas Tornado impression, I think, Billy Gunn with one shoe on.
With one. Oh.
we spoke about this in our SummerSlam review. Yeah, Kerry Von Erich and his one leg, or 1 foot. Sorry, Ken Shamrock just starts kicking at his leg, and it's like, okay, let's just get on with this. 21 is Test, part of the corporation. The minute he cut away, another cut back to the back. This is a real special of the era, because the Ministry are putting Mabel into the back of a hearse.
Yeah.
It's very strange. And as they're doing that, an ambulance pulls up, and we all know who's in it. We all know, because you can see who's driving it.
Yeah.
Austin's back, and you see Vince's face. They cut to
Gold.
Vince's face, and yeah, the guy knew how to work a camera, didn't he?
It was so good. He's like, his face, and he's gulping, and he's like, oh my God, yeah, also number 21, Test. Apparently they called him Test because he'd never passed a piss test in his life.
That was later on, I think, when he hit ECW. Ico Pro.
Ico Pro, sorry, yeah.
Austin makes his way back down to the ring just before Boss Man comes in at number 22.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the corporation are now out in the ring at the time, and Austin dumps Shamrock pretty quick. There's no messing about. This one's funny because Triple H is number 23.
Yeah.
But when Triple H is just about getting into the ring, all you hear is Vince shouting, "Get him over, get him over."
Yeah.
I think there's some sort of double meaning to this, because he's trying to get Triple H over.
Yeah. Get him over. Get him over. And also, you've got the King saying about Mr. Arse, he's a one-legged man in an arse-kicking contest.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Austin does clothesline Billy Gunn out. And then we get to number 24, which is another favourite here of Chris's.
Yeah.
Mr. Venus.
Val Venus.
Yeah. Nothing. Again, this is the thing with the Rumble. It has sort of gone quiet. There's not a lot going on. They're just names that are in there now. It's not like, for instance, 92, where Flair was just working the whole time and just was constantly at someone. You just noticed it. Or even, 94 with, Brett and what have you. That Rumble was pretty good until the ending, of course.
Yeah.
X-Pac in at number 25. Still nothing going on, really. Number 26, Sexual
Chocolate. Yeah, baby.
There was a storyline that he'd had intimate relations with a man at this point or something, and that was going on. They were talking about that.
When was the giving birth to the hand?
Later on, I think.
Yeah.
Way later, a little bit later on, yeah. Number 27 gets a huge pop, and I'm pretty sure it's not for Double J.
It's for Deborah.
Yeah.
Ex-wife of Stone Cold.
Jeff Jarrett here. I feel a little bit sorry for Jeff Jarrett, because he's the one doing all the work, and Deborah gets the pop.
That's right. And Jeff Jarrett would later, this is 1999, he would not long after this end up in WCW. He would pretty much follow Russo there.
Yeah. There's a really good line actually here. Like Michael Cole asked Vince if he's going to pay the bounty in cash or check, and Vince is clearly annoyed at this and says, "Yours clears every week, doesn't it?"
Yeah.
Number 28. What a draw! What a lucky draw this is for D'Lo.
Yeah.
People tend to forget how good D'Lo is at this point. He's still got the chest protector on. Comes out with Terry Runnels and Jacqueline.
Yeah, but don't they call him? They call him PMT. They call him PMT or something.
PMS, I think they call
PMS.
themselves. Yeah, God, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. We just try and gloss over some of the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Austin throws out Test. Someone I couldn't see it. Someone gets rid of X-Pac as well.
Yeah. Double J tries to work with Austin a couple of times in this, and
Yeah,
they have a little
Vince is
spate
cheering him
where,
on.
yeah, Double J gives Austin, and even this point, Austin's still taking those vicious snap bumps when he gets punched. He's still taking them snap bumps, and all this time, every one of those hurts to no end, especially with what's gone on with his neck and his spine.
Um, yeah, Triple H sends Double J on his way. And number 29, it's Owen Hart. He 1999 is not the year, is it?
This is Nation of Domination, Owen Hart.
No, he's tag teaming with Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, it was enough. Enough is enough.
Yeah, I think they would touch on that they had a title match the next night on Raw.
Correct. No, you're right. Yeah.
Owen would be dead by what, May?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. China makes history here. She becomes the first one.
Well, Austin eliminates Double J.
Was it Triple H or?
Oh
Austin?
no, sorry, yeah, and then rolls out of the ring, takes a drink of water from the cup at the announce and chucks it at Vince in his face, and someone's, oh, you're disrespecting the boss, and all this time Vince is saying, oh, this guy, get rid of him, and the King says, oh, I would go in and do it myself if I weren't busy here, it's
tough talking, Jerry.
yeah.
China throws Mark Henry out. That's a big pop as well.
Number 30, yeah.
But just as China gets some sort of momentum going, Austin clotheslines her out.
Yeah.
Triple H throws out Val Venus. And Triple H gets a stunner for his troubles and gets clotheslined out as well. Vince is begging for anyone to throw Austin out at this point.
Yeah.
Just because he's still not back in the ring. He's still at the commentator. So I thought that was amazing enough that he was still sitting there talking. Austin backdrops Owen out.
Before that, Owen hits an insecurity on Austin that looks stiff as shit.
Oh, shit. Yeah. This is the bit I've got. D'Lo is in the final four of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is incredible. Hits a frog splash on Austin.
A great looking one as well.
Yeah. And then after hitting the frog splash and sort of turning to G up the crowd a bit, Boss Man throws him out. And yeah, we get a stunner on Boss Man and Austin throws him out and we're down to 2. And Vince has to start, earning his money again.
Yeah.
And Austin, Vince gets an unprotected chair shot as well.
He does indeed, yeah. A brutal one.
Yeah. It just doesn't, again, it doesn't sit right anymore, does it? I mean, all those ECW shows and all that where they would really bend a chair up on someone's head, it just doesn't sit right anymore. I don't know if it works for other people, but it's not the way, it's not the style, and yeah, it's not good. But yeah, I'll move on because I'm going to complain about chair shots again. There's a low blow by Vince, but it doesn't really work because he gets a stunner, and here comes the new champ. Rock makes his way down the aisle, starts goading Austin, and he's talking to him, and Austin's telling him to get in the ring. Rock just sort of holds his ground where he is, and wouldn't you just know it, the owner, the boss, the big cheese of the World Wrestling Federation wins the Royal Rumble.
Just as Austin goes to the edge of the ropes, when the Rock's goading him and leaning over, McMahon literally just tips him out, throws him out.
And the fans hate this. It's so good. the heel heat for Vince winning a Royal Rumble is incredible.
Yeah. They
And
mock Stone Cold heavily after this as well with something they do.
we get a Michael Cole sort of soundbite. It's going to be Rock and Vince at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
What a match that would have been! Money spinner. Austin attacks the Rock in the aisle. You know, I mean, obviously, the Rock's Trent moved on to a new feud here. Which is weird because he doesn't move on to it straight away. Like he drops the title again.
Yeah.
On halftime heat, and then wins it back like a couple of weeks later on Raw in a ladder match. It's a bit strange to see that title going backwards and forwards.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's we get the big celebration in the ring. Vince is there with Shane, with Patterson and Briscoe. They get the beers in. Vince doesn't know how to chug a beer, it looks like.
Yeah, they're mocking. They get the announcer to say it again. And the winner of the 1999 Royal Rumble, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, Howard Finkel gets to announce it again, and they do. They get the beers in and they celebrate. And I mean, it is a hell of a lead into WrestleMania because there is a lot more to come. Like before WrestleMania hits, you've still got the cage match with Austin and Vince.
Yeah.
And this is a last man standing match between Mankind and Rock, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, doesn't have the sort of brutality that this one does, the I Quit match, but it's still a good, I mean, they work really well together. It just was a bit of a shame that it got to that point in the I Quit match.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, this is an incredible lead into WrestleMania 15.
Oh, it's good. I mean, I've got a little bit of memorabilia here as well.
It's memorabilia time.
WWF SmackDown sticker book with some unopened packets of stickers. I've got loads more as well. That's just 2 that I keep with my Mint album. I've got another album that's full. And this was the era, Stone Cold, The Rock, D-Generation X, on the back. The main T-shirts were, this is 2000, so yeah, Y2J.
Yeah, he hasn't hit the WWF at this point.
He ain't shown up yet. And he actually interrupts The Rock, don't he?
Yeah, I mean, the WWF would eventually start to really outstrip WCW in ratings, revenue, everything like that, and they would start to cherry pick some of their bigger stars, including Jericho, the Giant, or it'd be the Big Show.
Yeah.
And a little group that make their way over in early 2000.
Yeah. Little group.
Is it Perry Saturn, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and one more? I can't think of his name.
Oh, yeah, his name is fucking Dean Malenko.
Hell of a talent, Dean Malenko.
So
and you thought I couldn't get a Dean Malenko reference.
I did wonder how we would get a Dean Malenko reference in. I mean, it was probably my fault for mentioning Y2J turning up. So
Dean Malenko is my cheap pop.
Yeah, that is his cheap pop. That is, and mine seems to be either Gangrel or Val Venus.
Not TNA, no.
Or TNA. I've got quite a few cheap pops.
Yeah, they are cheap.
But yeah, I mean, but this event, it would be the ultimate heel heat pay-per-view. It would be a pay-per-view where not one of the good guys really would win or would come out on top.
What, X-Pac?
Well, I mean, possibly, yeah, but I mean, it was overshadowed.
Sable, maybe. I don't know.
Fucking Sable. Oh. Come at me, Brock. Yeah, Brock Lesnar.
This is a really fun pay-per-view. Like, it's if you've got the stomach to watch someone get hit in the head 10 times with a chair unprotected, then fine. Crack on and enjoy. But the rest of it is really good.
It's good stuff. And I would suggest watching it alongside Beyond the Mat as well, because they literally do go hand in hand. They were filmed at exactly the same time. There's backstage footage from this Royal Rumble in Beyond the Mat, and it just gives a really nice overview of a lot of stuff that's going on in the individual matches and in the wrestling world at that time, because it was the Monday Night Wars, weren't it?
It's good fun, and I enjoyed watching it again. I hadn't seen it in years, so some of it was, new to the mind for me. I was sort of, oh bloody hell, like that's a. Yeah. I was always expecting Austin to get a good pop, but Road Dogg got hell of a pop,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was good fun. Our next episode, we haven't decided yet, and because we've got a lot of new friends, subscribers, viewers, if anyone has any suggestions, we're open to them. We are thinking probably going to go back to a WCW show.
I would like to cover an ECW show very soon, and also I would like to cover Beyond the Mat. I would like to give a really nice commentary and review of Beyond the Mat as well. But yeah, I mean, we've got a load more subscribers. Jordan's bang on with this one. We over doubled our subscriber count within a week, and please guys, if you watch this, if you enjoy it, please click the bell, subscribe. Let us boost our subscriber count up to the point where we can get to that magical 1,000 number, and then we can start doing giveaways, because we want to give memorabilia away to you. You can see in the background here, got memorabilia here. We've got some there. I've got some there. I've got Jordan's got some. We literally want to give stuff away. We will give away VHSs. We will give away stickers, sticker books, cards. Our last episode we opened some 30-year-old cards on the show. So we want to do that, but in order for us to do that, we need to get the subscribers up. So please guys, if you enjoy this as much as we enjoy doing it, please just click on the subscribe. As we say, it is free, gratis. So please do that. It takes half a second and it means the world to us. And there we have it. Royal Rumble. No chance in hell.
Just
1999.
quickly, we've almost neglected to thank Tree of Life Framing. I know they're very good people over there, and they will. And I'm going to say it this week. I'm going to say it. They will frame you like Kevin Sullivan does.
They will frame me.
That's it.
He said it. He's fucking said it. That was the inside joke. We weren't sure what episode it was going to creep its ugly head up at, and it's reared up at episode 9. So he's bit his lip.
treeoflifeframing.com. They'll frame anything. They've got now. Do Tree of Life Framing have memorabilia and games and stuff, or is that something else?
Yes, they used to, but mainly it is framing now. But they will frame anything. I've got a load of bits and that, figures, programs, posters, T-shirts, anything you want, anything.
Remember, don't forget the T-shirts and the hoodies. If anyone is interested, give us a shout. We can make that possible, make that a thing.
Yes, the chat grapple and cheap pops hoodies.
I was repping the hoodie around Costco today myself. Nice. It is very it's a really nice.
Did you get any red cups?
No, I didn't get any red cups.
No.
It was a good fun shop. 50 quid off with a voucher as well. Lovely stuff.
Oh, lovely. I actually went to a car boot sale this weekend. I didn't find anything wrestling, but I'm going to another car boot sale quite a way away from here.
And if he did find something, he would have recorded himself doing it.
You fucking damn right. You fucking damn right I would have recorded it. So we will, if I'm going to a bigger boot sale on this weekend, and if I find anything wrestling, you damn Skippy, it is going to be recorded and I will show you guys next show. We call them car boot sales. In America they call them swap meets.
Yeah, I guess so,
flea
yeah.
markets, shit like that. So it is basically where people sell shit out of the boot of their car, and
Literally, yeah.
like a garage sale. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's about it, mate. From
Yeah,
us, I think today.
remember everyone, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, Deezer, Spotify, Podbean, iHeart Radio.
iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcast,
Yeah.
Castbox, Listen Notes, Podbean, iTunes, Apple Podcast, the whole
And
shebang.
if you're watching on YouTube, hit that button. It's free. It's free. It's free. Just press the button, press
Please.
subscribe. You don't need the notifications. I'm sure nobody does. But if you want to carry on seeing us crack on and have some fun,
That's
and
right.
even
And then we can
laugh
start
along.
giving shit away. We can start buying it. That means my missus won't be upset that I'm spending our money on shit to give away. We can just be the ad revenue we can fucking squander and shit and send it to our fans because we love it. So yes, guys, please,
And
we
yeah,
love
that's
doing
it.
this.
Remember,
Please give us.
Chat Grapple Pops on Twitter. You can catch us there.
That's right.
For anyone that wants to see some of our jokes, our wrestling jokes, we have some fun ones. I've been doing a lot on Haku recently. He's the guy that Chuck Norris calls when he gets in trouble.
That's correct.
We have a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun doing this, and we're going to keep doing it. And
That's right.
if you want to join us.
On this bumpy road we call Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast. Myself, Chris Dredd, the main man, JB. That was a bit of an RVD
Almost.
thing there. So yeah,
I'm not stealing his work.
This has been Royal Rumble 1999. No chance in hell. We will be coming back very soon in a week or so with another podcast for your ears. Thanks again for joining us. Please like, subscribe. Tap the bell. Join us on Twitter. But like we say, we really want to get this subscriber count out. So if you enjoy what we're doing, please just click on the bell. And that is probably about it from myself and the man JB. So we will see you.
Joining us, guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Peace.